Good morning, or depending when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name is Ross, and as always told, out of PTCGRadio. So today, we're going to be having a little bit of a look at another Tag Team GX Pokemon What Done Good. Like I told you, ladies and gentlemen, in my Magikarp and Wailord video yesterday, frankly, they became legal this weekend, and these Tag Team GXs are already looking good. Just yesterday, we looked at a Magikarp and Wailord deck that went and got second at a big tournament. How about having a little bit of a look at a Celebi and Venusaur list, which made top 4? Now, full disclosure, it did only make top 4. When I talk about decks winning, I mean doing well and winning games. Winning games. I don't mean they have to have taken down the whole tournament. If I mean they take down the whole tournament, I'll say something like wins a tournament, for argument's sake. So, yeah, Magikarp and Wailord Tag Team GX looking pretty gosh darn tasty. But then again, I thought that when it was released. Celebi and Venusaur, I was much less of a fan of. I would love to be wrong. Venusaur is one of the free kind of baby daisy Pokemon. It's Bulbasaur, it's Latias, and it is Wailord. Yes, they've all got Tag Team GX in the first set. That's a little bit weird. So I want this to be good. So let's remind ourselves quickly what Celebi and Venusaur Tag Team GX actually does. Well, it's got 270 HP, which is very high. Grass double colorless, 50 damage plus burn, confusion, and poison. It's a lot of special conditions. 2 grass double colorless 150. 2 grass double colorless GX attack 180. Heal it completely. If this Pokemon has 1 extra grass energy attached, then you shuffle your entire discard pile back into your hand. And frankly, ladies and gentlemen, this build here is a build which focuses on disruption and healing. And evidently, it works quite nicely. Do you want to know what other Pokemon were played in this deck? Shaman. That was not a dramatic pause. That was the entire list. This is Celebi and Venusaur and Shaman. Now, it is the Shaman from Lost Thunder. Once during your turn, you may heal 20 damage from your active grass Pokemon. So clearly here, what you do is you try and get all 3 of these bad boys onto the bench. And you heal. And you heal. And if you get all 3 of these out, that is 60 damage healed per turn. Which is frankly redonkulous. That will heal up very nicely indeed. This is going to be good. This is going to work. And remember, you've got the GX attack, so any card I'm telling you about here can always just be recovered very nicely indeed. One of my criticisms of Celebi and Venusaur Tag Team GX was that it just doesn't do quite enough damage. It doesn't smash quite as hard as we would like. But if you can be healing constantly, and bearing in mind 270 HP is massive, you're going to be absolutely fine. As a side note, right, if this comes against a Blacephalon, it ain't going to end well. You technically can attack with Shaman, because you are playing the requisite energy, but 30 damage for 2 energy is not good. But as long as they're not one-hit KOing you, and few things other than Blacephalon will do so easily, you're absolutely fine. Now, this is an attacking list. We do play an attacking list. So we've got 7 grass energy here, plus 4 double colorless, and there's no energy acceleration here. This is an old-fashioned tank deck, by which I mean I don't think you can one-hit KO me. So I can afford to just accelerate my energy the normal way, that is manually attach. And I am just going to sit here and attach energy and smash you because you're not KOing me. So if we flick to the trainers, we've got a couple of trainers here that work in this vein. We've already mentioned Shaman, but we actually see Potion here. Full on old school Potion. Heal 30 damage. Sure, we've got Max Potion, but the problem with Max Potion is you have to discard the energy. We don't do that here. We cannot get this going in one turn. We want to get the energy and heal, and heal, and heal. We cannot afford to be discarding energy here. So it's got to be regular, ordinary, everyday, run-of-the-mill garden variety potion. And look, while we're healing, how about Life Forest Prism Star? And look, Life Forest Prism Star is a given in every grass deck at the moment, right? Because once during your turn, you may heal all special conditions and 60 damage from one of your grass Pokemon. And what's really nice here is that whereas Shaman can only heal the active, this can heal the bench just as well, which is going to be extremely useful, given the whole, you're going to be going to the bench when you're about to run out of HP here. Remember, Tag Team GXs give up free prizes. You do not let them get KO'd unless you have to. This is very much like Rough Seas in that you retreat to the bench and just sit there healing for a few turns. Yes, it's a Prism Star Stadium, so once it's gone, it goes to the Lost Zone. Boo, hiss, etc. But we also see Aether Paradise Conservation Area. You see, Aether Paradise Conservation Area reduces damage done to your basic grass and lightning Pokemon by 30. Which means that Celebi and Venusaur doesn't have an effective HP of 270, it has an effective HP of 300. But let's say you're against a Zoroark, right? Zoroark hits you for 120. Well, that 120 gets reduced down to 90 because of Aether Paradise Conservation Area. And then all three of your Shaman kick in to heal 60 damage. You play a potion and you have completely healed. That is without using Life Forest Prism Star or anything like that. 3 Shaman and a potion, you've completely healed. And remember, you are probably going to win the Stadium War here because you're playing 4 Stadium and you've got your GX attack. But actually here we've got some other disruption to try and make sure we can get to that stage of the game. We play Crushing Hammer. We play 4 Crushing Hammer. But remember, one of the things that made Lysander's trump card so dumb, that let you recover your entire discard pile into your deck, was the fact that you could reuse Crushing Hammer and it was a bit unfair. Well, Celebi and Venusaur, your GX attack, if you've got an extra energy, lets you recover your entire discard pile into your deck. You get all 4 of those Crushing Hammer back. And that basically gives you 8 Crushing Hammer during the game. That's ridiculous. And then the other thing you do is you just judge. Every single turn. Judge gives both players a new hand of 4 cards. But also, I told you about Judge Whistle yesterday. I'll pop a link to that one in the description. And the thing about Judge Whistle is that it lets you either draw a card or get a Judge from your discard pile. So now you're playing 4 Judge. And you're playing 4 Judge Whistle. And you've got your GX attack. That gives you 16 instances of Judge in your deck. That's going to be enough. You are going to have a Judge basically every turn. Now, in the early turns, maybe you struggle to set up. But remember, you need 1 basic Pokemon, double colorless and a grass energy. Now, you'd like your Shaman, etc. But that's all you need to get attacking here. And also, right, if you're judging your opponent every turn, that makes it less likely they're going to draw into their stadiums, which means they're not going to be able to get rid of Life Forest Prism Star. And that's essentially what this deck is in a nutshell. You sit there using the first attack, and then when you're ready, the second attack, smashing, and the combination of special conditions, healing, Crushing Hammer, and Judge basically says to your opponent, ha ha ha, ha 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 ha, you basically can't play the game. That is the goal of this. It is a genius deck list that I would not have thought would work, except it clearly has. And then, of course, we just need to actually get rolling. Now, the supporter card here, we see Lily and we see Erica's Hospitality. It's all draw. It's not shuffle draw. Now, Erica's Hospitality is really nice, because if you've got fewer than 6 cards in hand, you draw 1 for each Pokemon your opponent's got in play, and after a Judge, you will have fewer than 6 cards in hand. And we're not playing shuffle draw like Cynthia here, because we want to be able to stash things like Potion and Crushing Hammer in our hand so that we can drop them at the right time. A quick correction, I said 4 copies of Judge, I meant 2 copies of Judge. Plus the 4 Judge Whistle. It's still 12 in your deck. That will still be enough. But my apologies, it's only 2 Judge in this list. it's not 4. We see a couple copies of Guzma, because, dragging stuff off the bench to KO, that's a lot of fun. We see 1 copy of Professor Kukui. Draw 2 cards, like I've said, drawing is good, but you also do 20 extra damage, that can make the difference. And then 2 copies of a supporter card, which I'm going to be honest, took me a minute or 2 to figure out what they were. Here's what you can see on the deck list. Can anyone figure out what it is? It's Sophocles, ladies and gentlemen. It's a couple copies of Sophocles. What Sophocles allows you to do is discard 2 cards from your hand and draw 4. Remember, drawing 4 is difficult in the Pokemon TCG. There's always a catch. Well, you can discard a couple cards here and there. It's not the end of the world, especially things like Judge to get back with Judge Whistle if you like, etc. But also, remember you're recovering your entire discard pile, so it's not the end of the world if you have to discard something. But it's draw 4. And this is a deck where you need the healing at the right time so you don't get KO'd. Where you need the Crushing Hammer at the right time. Pure draw is better than shuffle draw here. Now, there are a few other cards, but all of these make a bit more sense. In terms of Pokemon draw, we've got 4 Netball and 4 Nest Ball, which, first of all, yay, they get you your Pokemon, but Netball also lets you search out your energy. Essentially, either of them will let you search out any of your 7 Pokemon. Yes, you're playing more Pokemon Search than Pokemon, but also Netball here is really nice just to be able to search out that basic grass, so it doesn't matter that you're playing so much Pokemon Draw. We see 4 copies of Acrobike. It's just draw. It's just item draw. You need the energy, you need the healing, you get set up. Acrobike seems like a weird inclusion here, but it's one of those that you actually do really need. We see 1 copy of Field Blower. It gets rid of tools and stadiums. It's Field Blower, gosh darn it. And then finally 1 copy of another card, which I'm going to be honest, right, this deck list is really testing my can you identify Pokemon cards by a tiny sliver of the left-hand side of the card skills. The answer is yes, of course I can. This is what I do. It's Enhanced Hammer. Again, we talked about Crushing Hammer. Enhanced Hammer gets rid of special energy. We want to get rid of energy. We can reuse it once. It's quite nice. I adore this deck. This was not a card that was on my radar for being a really good card, as I mentioned to you quite explicitly. But then you see that it allows itself to be slow. And it plays Disruption and it plays Healing. And actually, it works out rather nicely indeed. I love it. But I want to know if you love it. So do let me know in the comment section, ladies and gentlemen. Go nuts. But please do remember the rule. Be nice, would ya? And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at TheWasi, and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCGRadio. If you want to support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all of that, head on over to patreon.com/PTCGRadio, where you can do exactly that. And do make sure you're checking out youtube.com/WasiPlays for some more Wasi action. But by far the most important thing, as always, is to look after yourselves until next time. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.